Ladies and gentlemen, we back in the building for another episode of the No News, Just Facts podcast. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. We are back in here, man. All right. So, first thing I want to get into, because there's a few things I do want to get into, is the first thing we got to just talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. The Game has released an album, I believe, what was that, last week, Friday, called Drillmatic. It's like 30 songs on the thing. And in between all of that, he has a diss song for Eminem. Now, why is there a diss song for Eminem? I have no clue. First, I want to say that I have a love-hate for Eminem because, I've been listening to Eminem since I was a child, since I was a baby, since I was in middle school. And basically probably fifth grade all the way up until I was till maybe my freshman year. That's the period of Marshall Mathers. That specifically is a period of Marshall Mathers from maybe elementary school up until like my freshman year of high school. That's Marshall Mathers. Now, obviously, if you're somebody who's followed Marshall Mathers for a long time, like I have, there's a new guy, this new Eminem at 50 years old raps completely differently from the young gentleman who was popping pills at maybe 25, 30 years old, rapping recklessly, talking about everybody and their mama and not giving a damn who he offends. That guy's obviously not around anymore. And I don't really listen to the newer Eminem like that. The newer Eminem is like, okay, all right. So I'm trying to see which way I can go with this. I'm also a Game fan. I've always followed the career of Game. Obviously, Game was in G Unit with 50 Cent. They had a falling out. Blase, everything like that. I rather find this weird because it's just like the little beef that Eminem and Snoop Dogg had not too long ago. It's like y'all are both part of the same legion, the same like society of like artists, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Eminem, G Unit, D12. Y'all are all part of it. Royce the 5'9", even though he was never signed to those guys. Y'all are all under the same umbrella, pretty much. And to be fair, Game, I always have like I have a little thing with Game too, because Game learned the game of I want to say clout rapping from Eminem, if you think about it. Because somebody had to Eminem is not like the first guy to ever do like clout type rap or shock rap or anything like that, but he's probably one of the main faces for it. So that in turn brings in 50 Cent. 50 Cent does the shock rap / gangsta rap / studio rap. And that transfers itself to game. So obviously, the teacher is being attacked by the student. And if you know Eminem fans, you know they will not tolerate any type of disrespect to Marshall Muhammad Mathers at all. I feel like even if it's a good diss song against their beloved fearless leader, they'll still find a way to just destroy all of that traction and say, hell no, we will not stand for Marshall Mathers slander, Slim Shady slander, blase, this, that, and the third. As I stated earlier, Marshall Mathers / Slim Shady, that music, that person has been long gone for many years and many decades. Now, as I said, Game does the shock rap too. So every now and then, Game's formula and method, if you don't know already, is to be shocking. They say he's bipolar, but I just believe it's a formula that he uses as a way of making it an excuse and reason why he's just randomly beefing with people. There's tons of beefs that he's had that just didn't make any sense. He beefed with Lil Durk. He beefed with didn't he beef with I don't know, wasn't he beefing with like Kanye or something like that for him saying that bro, whenever he's on rap records, he just says whatever. Even if he knows the person that he's speaking about or the relationship that he's speaking about, he just says whatever. And obviously, like I said, he got that from 50, which 50 got that from Eminem, and it trickles over. So where pray tell does this beef even come from? Where does this diss song? What makes Game fix himself to say, I'm gonna diss Eminem? Well, if you haven't been looking online or paying attention closely, Game has been saying a lot of stuff about Eminem and how he wanted to do verses with him. He wanted to battle him, all this other stuff. So this is just I believe this is just one of those efforts to try to get Eminem to, jump, basically. He did say something about like being mad about Dr. Dre not putting him on the Super Bowl stage, because obviously, why wouldn't you put another act on the stage that's part of that Interscope umbrella? You brought out 50 Cent, Eminem's there, Snoop Dogg's there. Why not bring Game there? I feel like when we speak about that time period and era, and this is no disrespect, I like the documentary. It's a classic album, of course, but like when we speak about that whole entire era of Interscope and that time period of music when I was younger, like I remember Game's documentary, the Game in G Unit less, because they're not the major pieces. They're not the major pieces to that period and time of music being put out. They're what's the word? They're supporting players. Game is a supporting player. So that's why this is a little bit like, okay, bro, like calm down. Like I heard the track, like it's literally almost like 10 minutes of him just paying homage to Eminem pretty much, and rapping in because Game can do an impression of every rapper that he likes or has grew up listening to. So it's basically almost an Eminem impression. an Eminem impression, and like I said, I'm not taking it serious only because, like, bro, Eminem's 50, you're 40. Who cares? Who cares, bro? Like, one thing about it is, like I said, whenever the game has an album coming out, he's always gonna find a way to, put some attention on himself by beefing with somebody or dissing somebody for no reason whatsoever. Um, like I said, some people say he's bipolar, but I just think he's put together a formula. And in this instance, in case this is no different, he said he was gonna. I kept seeing things about him saying he was gonna diss Eminem, and it's just like, I even heard his manager Whack 100 say, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be this diss that he puts out is gonna be so crazy," and it comes out and it's just like, okay, all right, man, yeah, such a good diss, bro. But honestly, I don't think Eminem's gonna respond. Eminem ain't gonna respond. One thing about it, through all the beefs that Eminem has had, he's never really like went against. When I think about it, he's never really went against a black rapper that actually could spit and like destroy him. Maybe, possibly, it would have to be like the closest thing to Eminem ever beefing with a black rapper that could really spit is probably when D12 went against Royce the 5'9". And I don't even know that Royce the 5'9" ever actually dissed Eminem. So yeah, that's I mean, shout out to the game, but he could have just left this he could have just left that whole black Slim Shady thing in the tuck. That there are songs that need to be put out, and then there are songs that just don't ever need to be released. And I feel like this is one of those songs that should have never, ever, ever, ever been released. He should have just put this away. I want to be honest and say, like, Migos breaking up has to be the most weirdest, coolest breakup ever. I promise you, it has to be. Like, this is Offset pretty much talking about him doing a solo album. I gotta find the video of basically uh I gotta find the video of Quavo and Takeoff pretty much going off to do their own thing or whatever. But it's the weirdest thing, bro. Like, it's the weirdest, coolest way to break up. They literally did not say they're going to did not say that they broke up or anything like that. But from the way it looks like I mean, like, from the perception wise, it just looks like they're not gonna be doing music for a while. So I don't know if it means that they're taking a break or what. But the internet obviously is speculating that, hey, the Migos ain't making music because the Migos is broken up. So I mean, could it just be a thing where, like, they did like how they did it before, where Quavo, Takeoff, and Offset were making like solo albums? It can't be that, because basically, from what you can just gather on your own, Takeoff and Quavo are still making music as Unk and Few, right? They still making music as Unk and Few. So just like, I don't really like to do the speculation stuff, but I just think, like, I'd rather it be like a thing of, like, where they just taking a break from making music together. I feel like it's that. I don't really think it's a breakup, for real, for real. I feel like they just taking time off. But if it is a breakup, this is the weirdest, coolest way to break up. Like, because at the end of the day, they all family. So it's like, um, either way it go, they're still they still blood. They still, you know what I'm saying? Um, they still got each other's numbers and everything like that. So it's like, um, now when we speak about like solo projects, this is gonna be another chance to like see if Offset is really like practicing and working on his craft, because his last album, Father of Four, had a lot of I want to say just your same type of like Migos hits, except it was just him by himself doing it. Um, hopefully this time around, you know, from what he's saying here, he said he's got a lot of hits on there, got a lot of stuff for the ladies. Hopefully he has like a variety of like rap records. Same thing with well, you kind of already know what to expect, because it's like it's Quavo and it's Quavo and Takeoff. So I mean, they're gonna give you your more clubby type songs. I feel like Offset is gonna give you the more. I feel like Offset will give you the more rapidy rap stuff. Um, your street nigga stuff, rapidy rap stuff like that. Uh, but him doing like, you know, women targeted rap songs, that'll be a different thing to hear, because I'm used to hearing him, you know, rap like rap about the streets, you know, things of that nature. So we can only see what happens from here. I'm gonna be honest when I say this: the newer new age pastor nowadays just keep seemingly exposing themselves for doing deeds that have nothing to do with God. Going to be taking a look at this video that is going viral of a pastor pretty much begging his congregation to buy him a watch or Rolex, whatever the case may be. Let's get into it. See, that's how I know you still poor, broke, busted, and disgusted, because of how you been. But you know what's bothering me about this? Like, it's not just the fact that he's slandering his church members. It's not the fact that he's begging, pretty much. Like, he's begging. He's begging his members, like, who already are giving tithes, offerings to him, basically, on a watch, calling members of his church broke. Now, what does this say about somebody who goes to his church? It makes them look bad, because they're allowing this pastor to just say whatever he wants and say whatever he feels. And it's the other thing is, the person, whoever the church member is, you can hear in this video agreeing with him. It's like y'all are making a mockery of, first of all, everything that is sacred about church. This is the reason why people who don't go to church are going to continue slandering the church, slandering the faith, because of people And pastors and members like this, um, not even necessarily negating the fact that some of these people who stay away from the church probably grew up in church. And that's the reason why they don't deal with the church, because they haven't found the right home that is accepting and not judgmental like most churches are. Um, but this is like truly embarrassing. I'm gonna be honest. It's very embarrassing for just for any church, any person of the faith that is sacred within their faith, any person who goes to church and whose church is nowhere near the way this church is, or whichever pastor there is that is nowhere near the type of pastor this person is. It's embarrassing.
No, I asked for one last year. Here it is the whole way in August. I still ain't got it. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Let me kick down the door and talk to my cheap sons and daughters.
That's crazy. Seriously though, that's crazy. Calling church members cheap. It's disgusting. If they're so cheap, why don't you help them find better jobs? If they're so cheap, they shouldn't be going to your church. If they're so cheap, why don't you, as a pastor, be a leader to your church members if they're so cheap and broke and poor? It's disgusting. He ought to be that pastor ought to be ashamed of himself. Seriously. Pastors nowadays ain't pastors, man. They're just I don't know, they're just snakes in suits, bro. They're like pastors nowadays ain't even it's like a lot of pastors are just like this guy, doing the same exact thing, all for financial gain. You know, it's just like the pastor in New York who got robbed. It's like y'all are making it look y'all are making being pastors look like a Fortune 500 company or something like that. And that's not, and that shouldn't even be the aim, bro. Like crazy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I wish this was a typo. I wish it was a typo, but to anybody who is considering going to college, if you're built for that, I salute you. If that's something that you as a person on your own can balance and do and be able to deal with the after part of it, whether it be successful or not, I salute you. To everybody else who has gone through, especially the ones who have gone through it and just got the boo boo end of the stick, you'll agree with me when I say it's BS. Going to college is BS. Yes. Now, I'm going to just read the article. Obviously, it says the Biden administration is going to be canceling. Obviously, when Biden first got in, before he got in office, he had promised the cancellation of student loans. Those people who owe various amounts of money to different institutions. Um, this right here is to a specific college by the name of ITT Tech. Institute is pretty much like it's pretty much like a school for people who are trying to get into technology, and there are various other things you could like get into. But with that, when you went to the school, and by the way, I was one of the people who went to the school, uh, you got loans. And you know, in some sort of instance, you're supposed to get these loans, and you're supposed to be able to, when you get a loan from a college, you're supposed to be able to take the loan and buy books, buy school supplies, whatever. ITT was never like that. They took loans that were supposed to be given to the students and put it back into their institution. Basically. So yeah, but let's read this. It says the Biden administration continues to make good on its promise to cancel student loan debt, as it was just confirmed via the White House that another massive amount has just been canceled, and now the closed ITT Technical Institute is at the center of it. Over 200,000 students who previously attended ITT Technical Institute now have President Biden to thank for officially canceling 3.9 billion of their student loans. Reports, according to a recent announcement from the Department of Education, almost 4 billion in student loan debt has been canceled for approximately 208,000 students who attended ITT Technical Institute between January 1st, 2005 through September 2016 when it permanently closed. This now brings the total amount of approved student loan debt cancellation to under President Biden to almost 32 billion. As of now, it has not been specified how soon borrowers will be notified of their debt cancellation, as the Department of Education explained that the borrower's student loan servicer has to be informed first. As for who is eligible to receive the student loan debt forgiveness, it includes those with federal student loans debt, even if they didn't previously apply for student debt relief. Under the Department of Education's Borrowers Defense to Repayment Program, however, there could also be former ITT students with outstanding debt who are not eligible because they attended before the January 2005 date of initial cancellation. You may recall that ITT was officially shut down. So basically, if you are a former person who used to attend this piece of shit school, they're basically saying that they canceled whatever loans or whatever debt that you had, and now you're free, pretty much. I mean, I'm not believing it until they put all that money that all that money I put into ITT. I'm gonna need all that back. I don't know. I'm not dancing or celebrating nothing until like we the people who really suffered and couldn't do anything with ITT get their just due, because a cancellation of debt isn't enough. It's not enough for what the fuck that institution did to a lot of people. Just in my opinion, I feel like some compensation is an effort, you know. Some real compensation is like in an effort to be given to dang near all the people who have debt from this school. So Swiss Beats and Timberland are suing Triller for what seems to be. Let's hold on. Let me just read this because this is crazy. I thought they were like in business together. So it says, Swiss Beats and Timberland were suing Triller for $28 million. Wow. Regarding their Versus deal, the company has officially responded. Triller responded via a newly released statement. Triller claims that they not only have Swiss Beats have paid Swiss and Timberland a significant amount, but also the two hip hop producers have not yet met the additional requirements of further payout. TMZ exclusively reports Triller is firing back against the multi-million-dollar lawsuit filed against them by Swiss Beats and Timberland, and their side of things is very different as it relates to Versus and alleged money owed. A representative for Triller provided an official statement saying this is not a feud over Versus, but simply about earn-out payments to Swiss and Tim. Swiss and Tim have personally been paid by Triller over $50 million in cash and stock to date. and they stand to benefit even more over time. In addition, they have annually annual obligations, which, if met and no breach has occurred, entitles them to additional payments. Triller continued with claims that Swiss and Timbaland have not fulfilled the initial terms of their agreement. Only one payment of $10 million is in question. Do not believe that they have met the threshold for that payment yet, which includes but are not limited to deliver of a set number of versus events for 2022. Okay. Well, I mean, you had to see it coming. You had to see that it was going to come. The two guys who pretty much put together this idea of two artists, whether it be a celebration of music or a battle of who has the better records, you had to know that just in a corporate instance that this was gonna happen. This was gonna happen at some point, and one party or both parties were not going to be in a alliance with each other, pretty much. So, yeah. Hopefully they can work this out, because I rather love the versus thing. The versus thing is cool. I mean, it's not like it once was during like the pandemic. Like, I mean, when the pandemic was like serious and we had to stay inside the house and stuff, it's not as great as, it. I feel like it peaked when we were in the house and there was nothing to do but be on the internet. I feel like it really peaked during that time. And then once you get to the point of like it being in stadiums, and it kind of, the hype for it kind of, in my opinion, died down a little bit. But it's still something that's needed, because it's just cool to see people who have been, it's cool to see artists and or groups of musicians who have known each other for a long time share the same stage or share the same room and just talk about where they were when records were out, or just being able to see inside the chat of Instagram, and seeing like, oh, hey man, I was this age when this record came out, or man, I had a baby when this song came out, or whatever. Just it creates great memories, in my opinion, I feel like. And hopefully, like I said, they can just work this out, because business before pleasure, business before, I don't know why I said pleasure. Business before, the party atmosphere is always should be something that should be taken care of. So, hopefully they work this one out. So I've already talked about the Rick Ross thing, and the Wingstop, the 10 Wingstops in Mississippi that got busted. So this is just Rick Ross's response to everything that has happened. Shout out to Chick Smooth. All right, let's do it. Bro, that's crazy. Rick Ross, he's a very positive guy. It's so crazy that he's a rapper and he's this positive, you know? As I stated before, it's just the fact that like him as a person, I'm sure what put him on the path of wanting to do just the whole entire thing with involving his family with his business. I mean, he's doing it out of just the pure love in his heart. You never want to, I feel like you never, as a person who runs businesses, never want to be looked at in a bad light. And I know, like I said, I feel like he didn't have no hand in this. I feel like his family had a hand in this. And, as I said before, you don't really mix your business and your personal like that. But I mean, it's good that he's taking accountability, even if he's not at fault for this. I ain't gonna lie, you can't do nothing, but you can't do nothing but respect the way he responded to all the news of, you know, his businesses and everything like that and his business dealings. So like I said, man, you can't even hate on that. You can't even like you can't really hate on it that much. I mean, you know, the guy responded and took accountability, and that's the best thing when you take accountability and when you can grow from a situation. What they gonna say? Oh, he's punking out like a whatever. No, man, he's a businessman and he's doing what he's supposed to do whenever something happens. Versus like somebody who runs a Fortune 500 company, and you know they'll be pointing fingers, and you know at the end of the day, the person who runs a Fortune 500 company has to be the one to answer for all of the BS that has happened in his company, even if it wasn't his fault at all. So salute to him for that.